Ladies and gentlemen, this is a disaster. Somebody needs to tell y'all, so I'm going to tell y'all. And I got liberals working for me who will remain nameless, working on my staff and stuff like that. But without looking at them, I'm going to plead to them to understand where I'm coming from. I want to emphasize that I'm not absolving Trump from anything. I'm not trying to paint him as some good guy who's being victimized. That's not what this is about. What this is about is the end game. And people not willing to see the forest from the trees. Understanding the damage that can ultimately be caused. You want Trump gone? Beat him. Beat him. Period.
Stephen A. Smith is issuing a huge warning to libnuts. But unfortunately, it's probably going to fall on deaf ears. Too many libtards are experiencing way too much glee right now. They are absolutely loving what Donald Trump is being put through by this corrupt prosecutor and this poisonous corrupt judge. They are absolutely being evil in their gloating.
I mean, this really is a fundamentally buffoonish person.
He seemed bored and fidgety, as we have seen him any number of times.
He looks small in that photo, a little rough in that photo, I think it's fair to say.
Donald Trump is being held to account by the very multicultural, multiracial democracy that he's trying to dismantle.
He doesn't control the pace. The conversations are happening outside of his purview, but he has to sit there and watch it. I was just watching the reports today and thinking about just the sheer psychological torture.
As you may know, Stephen A. Smith is a famous sports journal from ESPN. Last year, he started his own YouTube channel. Like me, he realized that by having your own YouTube channel, you could put out the opinions that really matter to you. That's not something he could talk about on ESPN every single day. As some of you may realize, my channel used to be focused on the Miami Dolphins. But I realized I wanted to say more. I had more to offer, and I wanted to talk about what I was seeing going on around the country. Love him or hate him, I 100% fully understand where Stephen A. Smith is coming from. As we both love sports and have been involved in sports most of our lives, we know the essence of competition. We both know in sports, it should be decided on the field. If you're a sports fan, you probably feel the same way. I've never ever rooted for an opponent to be injured, and I've never ever rooted for a ref to decide the game. I believe in big games, the refs should almost be invisible. Obviously, if there's an egregious penalty, you have to call it. But no one wants a ref to make a stupid, bogus call, a questionable call, that may affect the outcome of the game. I don't know many sports fans who would like that, and I don't know any players or ex-players who think that's okay as well. But as you saw in that clip from MSNBC, they are actually enjoying the fact that Donald Trump may be enduring some kind of physical torture. They were gleeful about torture. Their words, not mine. What a friggin' soy boy that guy has to be to say something like that. To be happy that somebody, anybody, would be enduring physical or psychological torture. That dude has obviously never competed in anything. And if you see his ratings, he ain't competing there either. It's torture to watch their network. I do it for you so you don't have to. That's precisely what the libnuts are missing. And that's precisely what Stephen A. is talking about. So many on the left, so many people that are Democrats are hoping that the ref makes the call, or in this case, the judge, to help their team win. Stephen A. knows, and I know it, that most people don't want to see that kind of competition. They want you to beat me straight up. And he also knows that the Dems have made a huge, crucial mistake by trying to take their opponent off the field. They don't even realize that most people are completely insulted and turned off by that kind of behavior.
You've got an economy that the Democrats want to say is thriving. We've got an inflation issue that they say is not really an issue. You're just miscalculating what's really transpiring. We've got an unemployment rate worthy of being stomached. It's not bloated. What's the problem?
The problem is they don't want to compete. They know that Dementia Joe cannot beat Donald Trump. That's exactly what Stephen A is saying.
Do you know what you're putting yourself, what kind of position you're putting yourself in if you're the Democrats? Listen to me, my liberal fellas and ladies. Listen to me. Is it possible that it could be perceived that you're going after Trump using lawfare because you can't beat him?
Straight up, they cannot beat Donald Trump. That's the only reason that this entire charade would be happening.
Because you know the issues don't favor you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
That is without a doubt. They can't win on anything. Gas prices, too high. Rent, too high. Interest rates, too high. Mortgage payments are too high. Used cars, out the roof. Car prices, out the roof. Food prices, groceries, completely insane. Giving away gazillions of dollars to foreign countries, crazy. And don't think for an instant that the border isn't really pissing people off.
Possible? Is that possible? Because see, that's the argument he's going to make.
He's talking about Trump.
And why am I bringing something like this up? Well, let's count the ways. So basically, we're going to encapsulate Trump's issue this way, ladies and gentlemen. Look at me, Sherry. I'm talking to my peeps here. Look at me, Galen. Look at me, Michael. Griff, just because you shaved your beard and you no longer look like a caveman don't mean you're going to get away with ignoring me. Listen to me right now.
I love the fact that he's putting so much emphasis, so much energy, especially probably talking to some black people and going, wake up. You can't even convince me at this point that Stephen A. Smith, when he gets behind the curtain, isn't going to vote for Trump. I don't care what he said. I'm just looking at the energy, enthusiasm, and emotion that he realizes at this point it's a lost cause.
Do you think when you bring up these issues and you say 34 charges, don't you think it's sort of diminished the moment you say it's hush money for a porn star?
Exactly. 34 charges, specifically based upon a payment to a woman. 34 charges. Think about that for a second. Oh, and by the way, it was way before he was president.
So let me get this straight. The 45th president of the United States, who's no longer the president of the United States at this particular moment, is in a courtroom today, 8 years after he was originally elected, because he facilitated hush money to a porn star. So in other words, I screwed around with a porn star and I didn't want nobody to know.
How true. When you put it in its most simplistic of terms, the only person at this point, and you have to get it right, the only person at this point who this even matters to or should matter to is Melania Trump. None of this is anybody's business. It makes no sense, especially what we've seen go on in that White House for decades. But no, with Donald Trump, we got to throw him in jail. He may have cheated on his wife. None of us really knows. There's an allegation that says it didn't happen. Stormy also wrote a letter saying she never had an affair with Donald, but that's none of our business. We're making it our business. We're making this a campaign issue that he may have given money to, his mistress. Meanwhile, there's no secret what Bill Clinton did. He gave Paula Jones $850,000. He was playing games in the Oval Office with Monica Lewinsky and a cigar. Meanwhile, you know what she was doing, and you know the story about the blue dress. What the hell are we doing in this country? This is absurd.
Y'all don't remember Gary Hart and some of the lies he was willing to tell? He wasn't the only one. Y'all remember Bill Clinton? I have never had sexual relations with that woman. Y'all remember that? Lying under oath. Remember that? No sexual relations. Who was the presidential candidate? Edwards? John Edwards? Remember the lies that he told? You really gonna push this where a state like New York has a former president in a courtroom because he paid $130,000 in hush money through an intermediary who happened to be his lawyer, Michael Cohen, to keep a porn star's mouth shut about the fact that they got loose with each other.
Just think about that. I love his antics because he's amplifying and underscoring the absurdity of what we're seeing here. I mean, she was obviously expensive if he had to pay her $130,000 if he paid her. But do you really care? Do you really care that he paid $130,000 to make his mistress go away? I mean, what did John F. Kennedy do with Marilyn Monroe? I doubt Lyndon Johnson had much strange. Pretty sure that, Jimmy Carter didn't have much strange. He was probably kind of straight and narrow. But it seems as though those men and other men who have done even worse, you're not bringing them up and bringing them into courtroom trying to stop them from running for a re-election. Come on, people. Is this where we are as a country? Think about that.
Because he didn't want that to taint his campaign. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have people in court because they lied about stuff when they were campaigning for higher office, knowing that it could derail their campaign. Now, I'm not getting into the legalese of it all. I understand from a legal perspective, the law is the law is the law. So all I want to say is he got with a porn star and tried to hide it while he was campaigning for the highest office in the land. And that's your case?
That is their case, that he actually did whatever he did or didn't do with Stormy, had Michael Cohen do whatever he did or didn't do, and that's what they want to tell you should stop him from being able to run for president. None of the stuff that Dementia Joe did, none of the stuff that Poo Poo Diaper Joe and his son did. Donald Trump should be thrown in jail, take the key, toss it away, because, oh my God, he may have cheated on his wife. That's what it boils down to. There's nothing else there.
It's much ado about nothing. To my liberal friends out there, all you're doing is showing that you're scared you can't beat them.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. You never want the ref to take your competition off the field. Nobody who's ever been involved in sports says, you know what? I'm not sure how this game is going to turn out today. I'm really not sure if I can take this guy. So, hey, ref, here's what I want you to do. About 2 or 3 plays in, can you go ahead and disqualify this guy? Why? Well, his shoelaces are the wrong color. His socks aren't, pulled up the right length. He's got his helmet, chin bar isn't matching the rest of his helmet. Find something and just get him off the field. That's specifically what the White House is doing to Donald Trump. Make no bones about it. That's exactly what they're doing. And I'm telling you this right now. Don't like Stephen A., or if you do like Stephen A., he's a man who knows sports. Lots of men love sports. Lots of women love sports. This, we can all see, is BS. Absolute BS.
On the issues and the merits.
Can't do it.
That's why he keeps saying it's a political campaign against me. That's why he keeps saying they can't beat me at the election, at the polls. Mm-hmm. This is the only way they could do it. And if you don't put him in jail, and he still goes from being the presumptive GOP nominee to the official GOP nominee, and he goes to the polls, even though he was going to whine about winning and being rigged again, you have given more fodder to that argument.
Not just fodder. No. Stephen A., you're wrong. They haven't given Donald Trump fodder. They have given Donald Trump and Donald Trump supporters and many Democrats who are seeing this as nuts and lots of independents. It's not fodder. It's absolute credence. We actually can see it unfolding before our very eyes. You're telling me that Letitia James and Fannie Willis giving money to her lover boy and everything else that's going on and trying to say that Mar-a-Lago is only worth $18 million and you're going to fine him $455 million and then you're going to try to take away Trump Tower and his golf courses and now you want to gag him and tell him he can't do anything and then he can't go see his son's graduation? Really? Is that where we are as a country? You're stepping over the line to where people are like, this is a bunch of bull. This is just insanity.
Which means we'll never have peace in this country because tens of millions of people see what extent the other side is willing to go through just to keep him out of office because they can't beat him on their own merits.
Exactly. To me, If I was Poo Poo Diaper Joe, this would be embarrassing to me. This to me is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen a competitor do. To basically try to enlist as many DAs and prosecutors across the country to take your opponent out, to kneecap him before he even gets on the field with you. It's pathetic. It's weak. We already know that Dementia Joe is weak. This makes it look even worse. There's not a real man out there, and I'm going to say not a real woman out there, who wants a man who is this friggin' weak. Nope. Don't want to hear it. You guys who think that this is okay, you're basically unhuman.
And they're going to say, hey, you trumped us up against them again. And we'll have no peace when all you got to do is figure out a way to beat them.
See, that right there is the problem. They cannot figure out a way to beat them because they went so far over the cliff. There's no way to come back in 6 or 7 months. There's no way. You're not going to be able to change the gas prices in 6 or 7 months. You've depleted the reserve. You don't want anybody to drill. You're not going to be able to get food prices back in line for 6 and 7 months. You're not going to fool anybody with housing prices coming down. The interest rates are still high. You're not going to fool anybody on the economy in terms of the jobs report, because what's happening is there's more jobs being taken because people are working 2 and 3 jobs just trying to make ends meet. You've got a bunch of immigrants up in New York with their own little baby, protest, I'll call it, so I don't get slapped by YouTube. You saw what's happening. You see across the border. You can't fix this in 6 or 7 months. God knows if he wins, if he could fix it after he got elected. They have decided to throw America off the cliff for power, for no other reason. And now what do we do? God forbid, I don't know what we do.
On the issues, but you haven't been able to do it. What a damn shame. I was only joking when I said on First Take this morning, I'm considering voting for a third party, because that would throw away my vote. But I do mean it when I say this. If I did it, which I won't, but if I did it, you deserve it. You can't beat them. Everything you do shows me you can't beat them. It's a damn shame. It really, really is. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. In jail because of a porn star. In court, rather, because of a porn star. 500 people being screened and questioned to see if they could become members of a jury because a former president tried to keep quiet about the fact that he was getting loose with a porn star. I would think that we could do better. It's a damn shame that we can't. It's a damn shame that we can't.
It's a damn shame that we can't do better than this as an American society. This is what we have. It's a damn shame that this is the state of the media. It's a damn shame that this is the state of politics in the United States. And it's a horrible outlook for the survival of America as we know it. I never thought I'd see the day when so many people were applauding and hoping that a ref would decide the outcome of a game, because your team can't possibly win. I sincerely pray that there are more Americans who feel like we do, who find this to be completely unacceptable. And I hope those same Americans are insulted by what they see going on. This is a moment where I think a lot of people are going to cross party lines, independents, Democrats, Republicans, and they're going to say, enough is enough. God, I pray that actually happens. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think about the refs trying to rig the game, especially with the stakes so incredibly high. Talk to you soon.